A 1,000-pound bull elk can go from standing perfectly still to charging at 35 miles per hour in a matter of seconds. And every single fall, visitors in America's most popular national parks learn this the hard way. So what exactly happens inside an elk's body during rutting season that transforms a normally calm herbivore into one of the most unpredictable large animals on the continent? Let's break it down. First, let's answer the question you probably came here for. Why are elk dangerous during the rut? The short answer is hormones, specifically testosterone. As the days shorten in late August and September, a bull elk's testosterone levels can surge to nearly 10 times their baseline. This isn't a gradual shift. It's an explosion of hormonal activity triggered by decreasing daylight, which activates the pineal gland and sends cascading signals through the animal's endocrine system. This hormonal flood rewires the bull's priorities almost overnight. Feeding becomes secondary, sleep becomes optional, and every other living thing in the vicinity, whether it's a rival bull, a cow elk, a parked minivan, or a tourist holding a smartphone, becomes something to either dominate or drive away. Think of it like this. Imagine you haven't eaten or slept well in weeks. You're running on pure adrenaline, and your entire biological purpose has narrowed to one single objective: reproduce or fail. That's the mental state of a bull elk during the rut. They are not thinking clearly. They are not evaluating threats rationally. They are operating on raw instinct, and instinct says that anything in their territory is either a competitor or a threat to their access to mates. The rutting season for Rocky Mountain elk typically runs from early September through mid-October, with peak activity often occurring in the last 2 weeks of September. During this window, bull elk engage in a suite of dramatic behaviors designed to establish dominance and attract cows. The most iconic of these is bugling, that eerie, high-pitched whistle that escalates into a guttural roar. Bugling serves multiple functions. It advertises the bull's size and fitness to females. It warns rival males to stay away. And it helps the bull locate competitors in dense forest or across open meadows. When you hear a bugle echoing through an elk meadow at dawn, you are hearing a biological declaration of war. But bugling is just the beginning. Bulls also engage in antler displays, where they thrash their massive racks against trees, shrubs, and the ground. This serves to strip the velvet from their antlers. Yes, but it also coats the antlers in scent and visually demonstrates the bull's strength. A mature bull elk can carry antlers spanning 4 feet or more, weighing up to 40 pounds. These are not decorations. They are weapons, and they are designed to puncture, lift, and throw. Sparring between rival bulls can be genuinely violent. When two evenly matched bulls lock antlers, the force is staggering. Researchers have recorded impacts equivalent to a car crash at low speed. Occasionally, bulls' antlers become permanently locked together, leading to the death of both animals. This is how high the stakes are during the rut. The bulls are literally fighting for their genetic legacy, and they do not hold back. Now let's talk about where these encounters with humans become especially dangerous. 2 parks stand out as hotspots for elk encounters during the rut: Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado and Grand Canyon National Park's North Rim in Arizona. In Rocky Mountain National Park, the town of Estes Park and the meadows along the park's eastern valleys become ground zero for rutting activity. Elk herds descend into lower elevations as the rut begins, and because these animals have spent generations around human development, they are what biologists call habituated. That means they have lost much of their natural wariness of people. They graze on golf courses, wander through downtown parking lots, and bed down on hotel lawns. This proximity gives visitors the dangerous illusion that elk are tame. They are not. A habituated elk is not a friendly elk. It is simply an elk that no longer runs from you. And during the rut, an elk that does not run from you is an elk that might run at you instead. The situation at the Grand Canyon's North Rim is similar, but has its own unique dynamics. The Kaibab Plateau, where the North Rim sits at over 8,000 feet elevation, supports a robust elk population that congregates around the developed area near Grand Canyon Lodge. Because the North Rim receives far fewer visitors than the South Rim, many people who make the trip are unfamiliar with elk behavior. They arrive at the lodge, see a massive bull standing 30 feet from their car, and their first instinct is to walk closer for a photo. This is exactly how people get hurt, and people do get hurt. Park records and news reports document a troubling pattern of elk charging visitors during the rut. In Rocky Mountain National Park, there have been multiple incidents of bull elk charging photographers who ventured too close. In one well-documented case, a bull elk charged a woman who was photographing it from roughly 20 feet away, striking her and causing significant injuries. In another incident near the Kawaniche Valley, a bull chased a group of visitors back to their vehicle, after they attempted to position themselves between the bull and a group of cows. At Grand Canyon's North Rim, rangers have responded to incidents where bull elk charged at visitors in the parking lot adjacent to the lodge, an area where people simply do not expect to encounter aggressive wildlife. The pattern in nearly every one of these incidents is the same. A visitor sees an elk. The visitor approaches to get a better photo or a closer look. The elk gives warning signs. The visitor either does not recognize the signs or ignores them, and the elk charges. So what are those warning signs? Rangers and wildlife biologists have identified several key behavioral cues that signal an elk is becoming agitated and may charge. The first and most obvious is bugling directed at you. If a bull bugles while facing you and making eye contact, that is not a photo opportunity. That is a warning. The second cue is ground pawing, where the bull scrapes the earth with its front hooves. This is a displacement behavior that signals escalating aggression. Third, watch for the antler display directed toward you, where the bull lowers its head and tilts its rack in your direction. This is the final warning before a charge. Fourth, ear pinning. When an elk pins its ears flat against its head, it is preparing for confrontation. And finally, the direct approach. If an elk begins walking toward you with a stiff, deliberate gait, do not wait to see what happens next. Move away immediately. So what distance should you maintain? The National Park Service recommends staying at least 75 feet, roughly 25 yards, from elk at all times. During the rut, many rangers suggest even greater distances. To put this in perspective, 75 feet is approximately the length of 2 school buses parked end to end. Most people dramatically underestimate this distance. If you can take a decent photo of an elk's eye with your phone camera, you are almost certainly too close. If you're finding this kind of information valuable, I want to take a moment and ask you to like this video and subscribe to National Park Secrets. We cover the wildlife encounters, safety tips, hidden trails, and little-known stories that most visitors never learn about. Subscribing helps us keep making these deep dives, and it means you won't miss the next one. Now, there's another factor that makes elk encounters during the rut uniquely dangerous, and it has nothing to do with the elk themselves. It's traffic. During September and October, elk congregating in meadows and along roadways create what park rangers call elk jams. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of cars stop along park roads as drivers pull over, often haphazardly, to watch and photograph rutting activity. This creates a chaotic environment where people are stepping out of vehicles on narrow roads, walking into meadows with their attention fixed on their cameras, and clustering in groups that can accidentally surround or corner an elk. In Rocky Mountain National Park, the Horseshoe Park and Moraine Park areas become especially congested during peak rut. Rangers are deployed to manage traffic and remind visitors to maintain safe distances, but the sheer volume of people makes enforcement difficult. At the North Rim, the problem is concentrated around the small developed area, where elk, vehicles, and pedestrians share remarkably tight quarters. Habituated elk in these developed areas present a particular paradox for park management. Because these animals are accustomed to humans, they do not flee from developed areas, which means they are constantly in close proximity to visitors. But habituation does not equal domestication. These are still wild animals with wild instincts, and during the rut, those instincts are dialed up to maximum intensity. A bull elk standing calmly on a lodge lawn at 2 in the afternoon can become a charging threat by 6 in the evening, as the cooling temperatures and fading light trigger peak rutting behavior. The biology here is worth emphasizing one more time because it's the key to understanding the entire phenomenon. Testosterone does not just make bull elk aggressive, it fundamentally alters their perception of the world around them. Studies on ungulate endocrinology show that elevated testosterone reduces the threshold for aggressive response, meaning stimuli that would normally be ignored, like a person walking past at moderate distance, suddenly become triggers for confrontation. The bull's visual system becomes hypertuned to movement. Its stress response is primed, and its decision-making, such as it is, shifts entirely toward fight rather than flight. This is why rutting bulls will charge at things that make no rational sense as threats: parked cars, fence posts, trail signs, and yes, tourists. So what should you do if you find yourself too close to a rutting elk? First, do not turn your back and run. Running can trigger a chase response. Instead, back away slowly while keeping the elk in your peripheral vision. Put a large object between you and the elk if possible: a tree, a vehicle, a building. Make yourself appear less threatening by avoiding direct eye contact and keeping your profile small. If an elk does charge, get behind the nearest solid barrier immediately. Trees are your best friend in this situation. A bull elk can outrun you easily, but it cannot navigate obstacles as quickly as a human can. Ultimately, The key to surviving elk rutting season in national parks is understanding that this is their time and their territory. We are visitors in a biological drama that has been playing out for thousands of years. The best way to enjoy the spectacle of the rut is from a respectful distance, with binoculars or a telephoto lens, and with a deep appreciation for the raw power and primal urgency driving these magnificent animals. Before you go, if this video helped you understand elk behavior in a new way, please take a second to like it and subscribe to National Park Secrets. We are building a community of people who want to explore national parks smarter, safer, and with a deeper understanding of the wild places we all share. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, and we will see you out on the trail.